Hey Pixel, and anyone else in chat. So as you can see, I have it set up so that the chat is on the side of this, so anybody who's watching the VOD later will know what I'm responding to, and I'm like 90% not talking to myself like a crazy person. The other 10%, who knows? But anyway, so this is going to be a short, really casual stream. There's probably only going to be a couple people in chat, but we're just going to hang out and we're going to make a map in Dungeondraft. Dungeondraft is the software that I use for all of my maps. So all the maps you've seen for Siren Squad, and if you were watching on Sunday, I also made the maps, except the Yawning Portal, obviously, that's like, everybody has that one Yawning Portal map. But the maps of the tea house, outside and inside, and night and dark and whatever, I made all those too. And I made all of them in Dungeondraft. It probably took me like 45 minutes or an hour, so it's super simple. And I really like how flexible, I guess, it is, but I've gotten a lot of questions and a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you made that. You made that? I'm like, well, yeah, but Dungeondraft. So, this is I don't know if it's still technically in beta, but Dungeondraft is made by like 1 or 2 dudes who work very hard on it. It is like $20 flat, and I definitely think it's worth it. And they have a Discord as well that I'm a part of that is actually a pretty active Discord as far as like, they have Dungeondraft, and then there's another program called Wonderdraft, where Dungeondraft is more like encounter maps and like specific, a building and area. Wonderdraft is like full regional maps or city maps or whatever. So they have support for both of those on the Discord. They have channels for ideas and for map feedback, and you can share your maps with people, and it's just fun. So I definitely recommend this. I have tried Incarnate. I found it a little restricting for my encounter maps. I have tried Flowscape, and it's really cool. Quite frankly, the slight parallax on the camera kind of gives me motion sickness. I've tried a couple different things. I basically end up coming back to Dungeondraft every single time. So, yeah, let's hang out and make a map together. First off, what kind of map do we want to make, guys? I came into this with 0 ideas. We're going to put this together. Yes, they super are intuitive and easy to use. I will say I constantly find myself like accidentally clicking on the wrong folder for the things that I want because I'm pretty scatterbrained, but other than that, like, what kind of map do we want? Do we want a building? Do we want an outdoor area? Do we want a town? Goblin warrens. I like the idea of a goblin something. I obviously don't get to do that sort of thing when I make maps for sirens. I don't know what the word warren means. I feel like that has to do with rabbits. Help me out here. Is that like dungeon tunnels or something? Let me Google that. A network of interconnecting rabbit burrows, but for goblins. Absolutely, yes, let's do that. That sounds perfect. So, this is the screen that first pops up when you open Dungeondraft. A couple things to note here. One is it says up to date up in the corner. If there's an update, you can click it and it'll bring you to, it's actually a Humble Bundle page, and then you re-download, do the thing, blah, blah, blah. Also, before you make any map, you want to go in and make sure you have all of the assets that you want clicked or unclicked, depending on what you're doing. There is I'm losing my brain here. There is a website that you can basically get like a ton of free Dungeondraft assets that's absolutely amazing, but keep in mind that they have different copyrights on them. So it's all free for personal use, but a lot of them you can't use for commercial use and stuff like that. So if you think that you're going to like start a Patreon or a Ko-fi making maps with all of these things. Don't steal artists' work and then profit off of it. That's not cool. We don't like it. So whatever you get, go ahead and check the rights for it first. It's the site is called Cartography Assets, and all of these are basically extra packs that I got from there or 2 Minute Tabletop. So I have all mine kind of in there. Let's start a new map. 15 by 15 or 15 by 20 tends to be what I go with. It's still that's a good like encounter map size. Let's go 15 by 20, and it can be like longer. And then corgi sploot there. A network of goblin burrows. This is going to be so fun. I never get to do goblin things because all the maps I make are basically for sirens. So right now we have a big old square just with some dirt in it. So let's go ahead and start with the first tab here and kind of go through real fast what's in here. Pixel, I know obviously you know what these things are, but just for the sake of I don't know, being thorough. So building tool is a very quick way to do exactly what it says. You pick your floors, you pick your walls. Dungeondraft is entirely top down. So I could be like, oh, look, check it. Now there's buildings. Ta-da! Very simple. And you can do the same thing with like circles, whatever. And I'm just gonna undo all that. This is same thing, but just the walls with no floor. This is all the different doors and windows you can put in that will automatically snap onto your walls, which is helpful. This is a brush that creates caves, which is what we're going to be using for the Warrens. Pattern tile, so this is your floor, basically. And these things you see down here, they've got a color. You can make the floor whatever color you want. That would be a ridiculous color for a floor. Here it is. And then this one is a slightly newer thing. This is roofs. So you can, if you're, top down outside in a marketplace, instead of having all the buildings open, there's a couple different styles of roof that you could choose from. So that's kind of neat. Next is terrain, which we're going to also be messing with. And it's basically just a brush that changes what the terrain is. There are a bunch of options. I haven't downloaded any extras for terrain, but they're totally out there. This one's pretty cool. I use Void for sirens like all the time. There's a little fill button that you can go, bam, now the whole thing is space. So how about like a swamp one? Let's fill our whole thing with like a swamp terrain. That looks kind of goblin-y to me. And then there is water that you can make. You can actually make your water literally whatever color you want. And I think that's pretty cool. So like, oh, that's not big enough to really show the inside color, is it? There you go. Green, blue, blend it. Could go to purple. Do whatever we want. Now if you overlap water, the old water will instantly turn into whatever your new watercolor is. But this is a cool way to get like weird gradients of magic or acid or whatever stuff. It's kind of cool. That's not what we want for our Warrens right now, but I do like playing with water. Obviously with sirens I end up using it a lot. And then materials is the same thing as water, but it's like extra stuff. So this one is like bits of acid. This one's like lava. This one's ice. This one's like piles of gold. That's kind of neat. Or like stone. So there's different things that you can do, and these ones will stack on top of each other or can go under the water, which I like using things like the lava or the acid underwater to create different textures under the water, because the water is transparent. And the path tool is for well as for making paths. So this is good for like fences or bridges or stairs or that kind of thing. This is one of those tools where if you're very creative about it, you can use anything to make anything. So this one is, for example, a coral bridge. And that's the sort of thing that I use for Siren Squad. But like it's supposed to be a bridge. I layered these up and I use them for the Aquadrome seating. I've also used it to be like a bedspread on a bed. There's all sorts of things that you can do. Oh yeah, material underwater for texture effects, definitely. The same thing with the other, terrain types. So if you have water, usually you just have dirt under it. But putting like snow or void or turning your intensity all the way down on gravel and just putting some spots of like pebbles and stuff is a really good way to add a little bit more detail to your water. And then this is all your stuff. Object tool puts 1, leaves it how it is. You could put as many as you want. Scatter tool will take the thing that you have and change the size to your specifications and turn it basically. So if you're putting like 1,000,000 leaves or trees or something, you'd use the scatter tool and it would like change it up just enough so that it doesn't stay super boring and samey. So both of those are good. The scatter tool will save your life. And then the last thing to mess with is the lighting, which I'm not even going to get into right now. Lighting is much easier messed with at the very end. I put lighting effects on every single map I have, whether it's daytime or night or whatever, it doesn't matter. Lighting effects are my favorite. I love good contrast. So let's make some goblin burrows. How about that? Okay, ground color. Let's do like, this is kind of a greeny brown sort of thing. What if we do like that? That can be our ground. And then our wall, we probably want just a little bit darker. Or I tend to like it a little bit darker anyway than the walls. All right. And then if you hold shift, I know you guys can't see what I'm doing on my keyboard, but holding shift basically lets you move things around. So I'm going to start with a little entrance over here on this side and kind of make my basic shape, I think. Like that. And then let's come in here and do a little split. How about? Why not? And start blowing up some caverns, I think. Some little offshoot areas. And hey, why not? Well, this can connect back over here. Keep them guessing, that's what I always say. I try to keep my rooms on the map rather than going off, like up here. Just for the sake of when you've been a DM long enough, you kind of know what's going to be a chaos trap, and your players insisting that there must be something secret up there is one of the things that's just going to waste all your time. You can also, I'm on a Mac, so I can't speak for the Windows keys, but for me, if I hold Option, is it Option? Is it Control? I think it's Option. I can basically erase, so it creates like a smaller path where it cuts that out. And I am gonna actually come in here and do a little teeny path that's like gonna be like a hidden thing, I think. How about that? And then make a bigger secret-y room. Yeah. So we have some winding paths that could go anywhere. We have some rooms that lead to little offshoots. Let's go ahead and connect this one. Why not? Kind of make it like an anthill sort of thing. And these are like teeny little paths, so could actually, there we go, open that up a little bit. Could be good for goblins. Alt on Windows does the same thing. There you go, perfect. paths that only goblins can squeeze through. I mean, that's what it is, right? This map is a warren that goblins use and goblins made for goblins. So why would I make a map that a Goliath is meant to fit into when this is obviously just for goblins? I don't do that. Sucks to be you, Goliath. Figure it out. Okay, so we have our little areas. What are you guys thinking? You think we got enough? You think we need more? I want to put another tiny one right here. Just make it like a loop. Just for the sake of confusion. There we go. Some of these spots, if the rock overlap, I will just give it another click just to spread it out some. But I think we're doing pretty good. Let me check this lighting real fast. Is the ambient light? Yeah, we're all the way up at the top. Okay. So that is the cave brush. This is the blast open thing. Basically, instead of having a wall around everything, this would be like, this is kind of helpful if you have part of your map is not a cave, or is like above ground or something, and part of your map is a cave, so you can kind of break open those walls. We don't need that for this one because it is all underground, but that's what the blast open does. Now let's see here. I think we need some water in here, like some stagnant water. That's what I think. Let's make it kind of like gross. Yeah, there you go. So the trick to gross, as opposed to evil or radioactive, is the saturation. So, like, green, especially for water, definitely triggers a human, like, don't drink that, you'll die instinct. But if it's like neon green like this, that reads as like magic or evil or acid or, you know, that sort of thing. But if you desaturate it and it's just kind of a gross muddy green, that's when you're getting into disgusting goblin territory. So let's see here. Let's do this one kind of more of a drab olive color. Which, this is going to be a lot of drab on the map, but the lighting will definitely help with that. I'm going to do teeny ones for this. I'm going to come in here around the side and just make a pool of nasty goblin water. See, that's pretty dark on this, so I can lighten it up a bit. And if I don't like it, I can always go back. Just go over it so it, there we go, that's a little bit lighter. Dungeon creation tips are great and useful. Oh, hi, iQuade. I don't actually know who you are, but welcome. I don't know what OS you use. I only have a Mac, so I'm just running with what I have. But if you ever get a chance to use it, it is a pretty fun software. Let's get some water up in here too. Just kind of make it gross. Oh, see, I got a little out on the side so I can use my option key to delete. Kind of erase just that little part. And then I think, how about we'll just fill this whole chamber with water. That'll be interesting. If they're like, is there something in there? I don't want to have to go check through the mud and the gross. Sounds like a personal problem. Okay, so we have a little bit of water. What kind of material brushes do we have in here? We probably don't need any lava or acid or anything. But I can show you real quick. So right now we have below ground, and then there is another layer for below water. So if we put, say, the ice tile below the water, it'll show up as ice here and then be underneath our water over there. Ta-da! And you can see the water a little bit better. Which I'm not entirely sure why at the moment you can't see the texture for this, because usually you can, but it's probably just because I'm on stream and told you that you could, I'm sure. Let's get some objects in here. What campaign is this map for? Sorry, I just got here. Oh, Gigawatt, I remember you. You were at for some of our charity streams. This is an example map. Basically, we are making a little goblin anthill burrow, but it's not for any particular campaign. I just asked someone in the chat, hey, what kind of map do we want to make? And Pixel was like, let's make a goblin warren. And I was like, I never get to do goblins for Siren Squad. Let's do that. Oh, Linux. Yeah, Linux is... Linux be like that. It can be fun. It has its moments. It has its perks. I'm dyslexic and can do absolutely zero things with coding, so Linux is never my bag. But for the people who can do it and have the time, it's super fun, and I've seen friends do a lot of really cool things with it. So, no judgment there. Anyway, back to this. So I have a bunch of crap in this library. Now, Dungeondraft comes standard with tons of things, just tons. But I've also downloaded a bunch of asset packs from, I think it was, what did I say? It was cartography assets. When I post the VOD for this, I will have links to where you can get all the stuff and all the things. But anyway, you can just scroll forever. There's so many things. So there's like little books, there's candles, maps, scrolls. You can see over in the top corner, it gives you more of a little preview of what it's going to look like, or maybe how big certain things are. So these ones that are all this weird kind of maroon color means they can be customized. And the maroon is like the standard color that it always lands on. These are the colors that come with it. If you want your map to be cohesive between what Dungeondraft doesn't let you color and what it does, using these colors can be very helpful. And if you don't really understand how color works at all, and it'll look like a hot mess, you can just use these colors and it'll turn out like almost as if you know what you're doing. I like to make it like a really bright color when I'm picking things, just so when I'm scrolling through, I can see obviously which ones are editable and which ones are not. Like, you can really tell the difference now which ones I'm going to be able to color. So there's a lot of food stuff in here. Let's just scroll for a moment, shall we? Just take a trip down asset lane. These are some plants, and whatever you do with these, I mean, you can make something look like a bunch of different things. This could be a cup, this could be a plate, this could be a bowl, this could be the top of a mushroom, this could be liquid inside a basin. I mean, this could be anything round that you want. So this right here could be like the top of a carrot. It could also be a plant in a vase. So don't get hung up on what these are named. You can use them for whatever you want. Let's see, we got some wood in here. It's been a long time since I've had some water. Let's have some water. You guys should hydrate too, chat. Hydrate or dihydrate. Preferably the former, not the latter. Got some smith's tools in here. Some beds, some campfires. We'll probably use some campfire stuff in here, I'm sure. Tents, rocks. These are fun rocks. I like these ones. Crystals that you can make any color. I use crystals a lot for Siren Squad, let's be honest. Big old spiders and some spider webs. Always good for making dusty maps. And then these are fun. This is broken stuff. So if someone, has ransacked a building, this is like broken glass and broken pottery and stuff. In the beta, before roof tool was added, I used too many carpet rug objects for a tiled roof. Yeah. Before the roof tool was added, I I usually just used like a tent or a rug asset myself, like you did. I mean, there are downloads you can get for paths that were roofs, and like those are okay too, but definitely the roof tool that's like dedicated to it is 100,000 times better, because it lets you do like the gabling thing and does the little like point turn. You can tell I'm not an architect and don't know roof terms, but like it actually looks like a roof rather than just a bunch of squares on top of each other. Some like games and stuff. Water, or not water, you can color it however you want. Some of this stuff is hard to see. This is, I can put it over this, you can see it better. Well, here, I guess I'll scale everything up big while we're doing whatever we're doing. So this is like to make it look like something's dropping in water, which we could put some of those over here if we wanted. In fact, let's scale it back down to normal, and we'll put some water droplets in our water. Be like, ooh, what's in there? Who knows? Maybe you'll find out. Maybe you won't. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe the cave is leaking. If we wanted, we could put a fountain from nowhere coming in and creating this water. That'd be kind of interesting and a little weird for it to be like a fountain of really disgusting objects. Or I'm reading objects in the chat. A fountain of very disgusting water. Don't listen to me. Don't speak English. Rubble and stuff. I feel like there would be quite a bit of rubble and things in. Like, maybe this floating stuff would be in here. That could be kind of cool. River or fountain from the roof. Yeah, I mean, why not? Here, let's do this one. This one's kind of cool. We'll do it. We could do it like that. But we want to get our... Here we go. That one's a little bit lighter since it's not over this very dark ground. So we'll do it like that. Yeah. Another fun thing, I can place this and go, I don't know about that. That doesn't really make sense. So there is a little direct select button over here. If you just grab something without double clicking on it, it will continue to snap it to the map. But if you click on it all the way and it has these little boxes on the side, then you can move it around exactly the way you want it. If you pull out enough that you get the hand, you can like turn and really precisely put things where you want. This is super helpful when you have to turn something around like a curved wall or something like that. In Siren Squad, the last one we did was a dungeon crawl. Hit S to turn snapping. Yes. Was a dungeon crawl up a mage's tower. So the whole thing was completely round the whole time. So there was a lot of like very particular mussing and fussing with things to make it fit around a central column on a spiral staircase. It just be like that sometime. Hey, Grunk. Nice to see you twice in one day. Yeah, we're just hanging out and making a map. This is going to be a goblin warren. And it's not for anything in particular. So if you have some requests or some ideas or some whatever that you want in here, just throw them out. Why not? Anyway, so looking at this, the color of this and the color of this water, not really vibing for me. So you can come in and adjust and just make it darker. And it'll show you, I keep pointing on my screen like you can see me point. But you can see it over here, kind of in real time. Maybe we'll do like that, except. And that looks a little bit more like it. This map is very dark, I'm aware. It's because goblins. Anyway, so come back in here, object tool. We'll just, we can put some like water. Yeah. Some like waves coming off it. Why not? This cat right here is one of my favorite things, and I love to put this cat on any map that I possibly can, but I'm not going to put this cat on a goblin map because I feel like that would make it seem like it's in danger, and that would derail every party ever. Other fun things in here, tiny mouse, some little pigeons, like you do. Piles of bones. Ooh, let's put some piles of bones in there. Bone pile. Here, how about like over here? We'll put a pile of bones. And like some little excess skulls like that. Yeah. I like having very full, complicated maps. You guys might have noticed from Siren Squad, I'm not simple when it comes to my maps. I like a lot of nonsense. Ooh, like a skeleton up in there. Yeah. And usually what I tend to do is I will place a bunch of stuff on my map and then come back later and adjust and finagle and turn everything so it fits. But rather than going back and forth between this and the select and this and the select, I just... And if you have any other dungeon draft tips or I'm not doing this properly, please throw them in the chat. I'm not pretending I'm an expert. I've just made a couple maps, so that you will not hurt my feelings. Okay, so we got some gem piles, we got some gold piles. Let's, how about we throw this stuff in like our secret room with the water? How about that? We'll throw some gold in there. That would be fun. And we can put it below the water. So you can see some of it like under the water. I'll put some gold in there. So I don't know what happened in here, but my husband just sent me a text that his brain decided instead of WI being the abbreviation for... Why did that just cut out? Instead of being the abbreviation for Wisconsin, it was the abbreviation for Wichigan. That's definitely what it is. Wichigan is totally a state. Goblin Lair. Doesn't it need a poorly locked chest? You know, it does need a poorly locked chest. My, pro strat, or just what I do anyway, is I tend to go down the list, and as I see something in... I don't always have stuff in mind, so I'll kind of go down the list and go like, oh, that could work, oh, hey, that could fit, and then just kind of throw it in as I go. So like right now I'm kind of doing that with like these gold piles of like, there's not really anything in particular that, which again is a real place, but we're definitely going to need a poorly locked chest in there. We just have not gotten to one yet. We got some coffins, got some corpses, got some dragon skulls. I don't know that we need dragon skulls in here. We have some other skeletons. These ones are like hanging on the side of a dungeon kind of skeletons. Oh, yep, fair. Thank you for trying to save my back. I appreciate it. You found a button. Hey, actually, while you're there, can you tell me if we have a community challenge up right now? I think I set it up earlier, but when I checked, it didn't look like it was up all the way. So it would be a challenge to get the Siren Squad up to level 10. Do you guys see that? Oh, I'm gonna have to text my husband and tell him Wichigan's a real place. You don't see that. Okay. Well, it should be there. Maybe when we probably in 15 or 20 minutes I'll take a break, and then when I take the break I can try and figure that out. But yeah, there should be, hopefully after the break, there should be a community challenge to get the Siren Squad up to level 10, because they've been level 9, but because it's episodic, there's nothing that would get them to level up, so we're just going to do it this way, so all the Sirens would be able to level up. And do fun, cool new stuff. And then I'd be able to send fun, cool new monsters after them, which is actually why I'm doing it, because I like being able to play with monsters as a DM. Anyway, do we want any of these guys in there? I don't know. We got some closed chests in here. We could do some closed chests. Oh, how about that? We'll put this one like kind of like half under the water, like half sunken in over here. We'll just set it right there and then we'll adjust it later. It would be really cool to level them, I think. We don't, because it's episodic, it's sort of like an old children's cartoon where it like resets at the end of everything, so like there's not really an option to level them up, but I still want to give them that. So we don't need torches or statues or anything, I don't think. Although these statues can be kind of fun. Let's go back to the, so where you can see literally everything that you can change the color of. I really like using these for things. I don't feel like there would be any statues in a Goblin War unless they were like actually part of a tiny goblin cult. Some of these are cute though. Look at that one. That's fun. A big person. Probably a mage person. I have no idea what that is. Like a frog demon, maybe? Who even knows? Another big person. Statue from a former resident. Oh yeah, maybe they took over something else. Let's see. What kind of statue do we want in here? That says it's like an animal. That one's like a gargoyle sort of thing. This is like a sphinx. We could put like a sphinx in there. Force level them in character. You could have them find some kind of magic bubble geyser. That would be interesting. I was considering, I would like to do duets with everyone and give everyone a chance to do a mission on their own, or ooh, this one's fine. I like these ones with the bases. That just looks fancy. Will it fit in here anywhere? Maybe these ones won't. We can try something else. Alright, bits of rubbish. That's what we need in here for sure. But with Siren Squad, I want to do duets with everybody and give them a chance to maybe have like a background, you know, do like a backstory thing or a side mission, or, you know, something that gets into their character. Some way to, I don't know. Something that, oh yeah, let's put this underneath. This is some rubbish pile. Some dirt. This is a big dirt pile. Wow, that one's got a lot going on. Maybe we don't want all of that. Got some spells in here. Personally driven side story. Yeah, exactly. Because it's so... Siren Squad's really fun, but the one-shots, because they are one-shots, are very, like, you have to stick to the script. We have a limited amount of time. Like, it has to be done by the end of the episode sort of thing. So I do try and give them time to roleplay, but there's not really much opportunity to roleplay, like, your backstory or, like, a character arc or kind of develop that sort of thing. So, yeah, I want to do duets with everyone to give them each that moment with these characters. And I would like to, with each duet, give them like a special item that I think would be really cool for them to have. So, for example, Jade is a rogue, and I would love if we do a duet that she, for sort of the reward for doing the duet is that she would get special arrows that let her, like, basically extract aspects. Like, if she shoots something with these magical arrows, it tells her about their weaknesses or whatever. I think that sort of thing would be cool, like giving them each an item that is really personal to their character. Here we go. Here's an open chest. Let's get some gold in there. And maybe a little like... There we go. That's perfect. Ta-da! Just like that. Oracle arrows. Is that what they're called? I thought that oracle arrows were the ones that let you see through the arrow as it was shot. Like what Vex had in Vox Machina. I'm talking more like if she shoots an animal, it's... Oh, gotcha. Like if she shoots an animal, it gives her the same like extract aspects that a Cobalt Soul Monk would have. So like tells weaknesses and resistances and stuff like that. I just think it would be fun, especially with rogues, because rogues are very limited for a one-shot in what it can be useful for. And I don't want anybody to feel useless. That's not fun. Pit traps. There's this thing. That's a thing. Didn't know that was an actual thing. Yeah, Oracle arrows. That might be Matt Mercer's homebrew, but I'm pretty sure that Vexalia had an Oracle arrows that would, like, if you shot it for the duration of when the arrow was in the air, it would basically be like a scry spell where you could see what the arrow had in front of it. Yeah, kind of like identification. Yeah. Stuff like that would be fun and cool. Tar pit. There's a bunch of like traps and stuff in here. You think, oh, here, we can put a bunch of these, like, in the water. I'll probably adjust those so they're a little bit different, but... We got some pipes, some like dirty, gross pipes. We could put a pipe in there, and the water over here is like coming from a pipe. We could do that. We could do anything we want. These ones are fun. I like these a lot. Magic portals. This one's particularly pretty because it's got all the bushes and stuff around it. These ones are kind of glowy. It's nice. I don't know if goblins would have magic portals, though. They probably would also not have, these things. They might have, like, broken weapons and stuff around. Maybe, like, by the bone pile. I could put, like, over here. Maybe some wood pikes for whatever reason. Yeah, those are always in dungeons. Goblins do that sort of thing, right? Let's throw some random weapons in with our pile of junk. Over. That actually, compared to the compared to the bones, is like a very big sword. A portal that they can't use. Got some like totems in here. Some broken totems. Some horses. Broken stone and wood. Always useful, honestly. I like having broken bits of wood around. Little fountain things. These are like stone pillars and columns. I end up using those a lot too, but I don't think we're going to need them for this. A bunch of stairs, clocks, flags, barrels. Yeah, maybe not barrels. You think they'd have, like, stockpiles of food they stole from people, maybe? They seem to have stockpiles of gold and stuff. Yeah, we could do that. Like, kind of put them over here, stack it up. Let's make this one that color, why not? And then those can be, like, green. Sure. Random sheep or goat in the corner. Definitely those. There's like a broken sack of grain over here we can throw in. That'll be good. I like having some of the bags are like open and spilled out. So yeah, basically what I do is just throw all this stuff all on top of each other and then come back to it later. Here's what we're getting to. Weird grass and stuff. That's what we need in here. Is this the kind I want? Is this the kind I want? Why is this rotation at 90? How about we do 0 rotation? How about that? some like random grass and stuff up in here. Some of this grass too. I like kind of getting the texture, you know. It makes it less boring. Okay, so here's what we really need. Here's what we're coming up on now. Big mushrooms. I think every underground cave, the goblins are like the party and have adopted the goat. The thing about that is, the party would then adopt the goat, and then as a DM, you'd have to like deal with a goat. So this is where I'm going to use the scatter tool and put in mushroom, search, and now you can see I've got all my mushrooms up over here. So with the scatter tool, one of the fun things you can do is select multiple colors. So I can have the mushrooms be a couple different shades of green, maybe some blue, maybe some purple, however many colors I want. And then change the scale. I like to keep them relatively close, and then have it rotate however it rotates. So now, if I were to click on this, for example, which these ones are very big, I would want to put the scale down, but just as an example, it will move them around a little bit and change to a custom color, which, did I have? I do have those clicked. So I guess just because it's on stream right now, it doesn't want to randomize a whole bunch, but like you can just fill a whole area like this pretty quickly. I'm actually just going to come in here with all that and just delete it real fast. Find my mushrooms again. Okay, good, all that's still selected. So we'll probably come in with the like smaller mushroom things and just kind of put them around places. I tend to get a couple, purple with purple, why not? Different ones all in the area. I'm not really picky about things like this. I kind of just follow my heart with where things go. And then kind of select a few of the different patterns and, you know, try and mix it up some. If they end up really similar like that, I'll come back around and turn some. Rival goblin soccer team stealing the goat back and forth. Well, that's their business. I'm just making their home, okay? I'm not a part of any of that. Let's see, where were we down here? Whoa, way too far. Okay, so we were at some mushrooms, some roots. We can put some of those in here. These are fun. These ones are big, as you can see. This is like a tree root. Some of these are like the whole dang tree. Some of them are smaller. And put it like that. I like some of the ones that look like they come in and out of the ground. There we go. Just a couple to get in your way, you know? Just a few. Yeah, these are a bit bigger than what I want. I don't tend to mess with putting a bunch of stuff, setting up a nice house for my Sims. That's exactly what we're doing, honestly. This is like D&D Sims. I don't tend to mess with putting a bunch of stuff in the empty space that's supposed to be solid ground, because your players will try to interact with it if you put a bunch of stuff there. So I tend to leave that very dark if I can, or very light, or very, very obviously not where you are is what I tend to leave it with. Here's some like spikies and thornies. That's kind of fun. This is more for like, you know, the outdoors. Do I care? No. Oh, that's not where I meant to put you. Put like right there. Ooh, kind of a bigger one. There we go. Why not? Why not, I say. Got some fun dead trees in here. The dead trees are always fun. Some vines and stuff. These vines, tendrils, whatever, not super my favorite. They're good on like a forest floor. Broken stuff. I love a good broken stuff. It adds so much texture and flavor. Random bones. These bones are big compared to the other bones. We won't throw those on there. Well, we can, but we would want to adjust their size. A butterfly. An eyeball. I have all sorts of random stuff in here, y'all. Got a little heart. Got a heart in there. These are like components to put on top of like alchemy tables, basically. Some teeth. You know, everybody got teeth. A little smoke. This is very fun smoke. I use it on the water all the time. It's very cute. Actually, what I used it for most recently was there was a Siren Squad map where they were on floating islands above the water in the moonlight, so that was like clouds underneath them. That was kind of fun. This is like dirt in a path, which is kind of neat, but it's also a little bit straight for what we've got going on. These ones, I believe, are ones from 2 Minute. A little alligator. Because these ones are for the water. We're not going to put the alligator through there. Your goblins are unhappy. Give them some recreation. We can't. They're too tired. But we can't sleep because they're hungry. But you can't eat because they're too tired. Little did I know that that was prepping baby Jenna for the real life. The real world. What is this? Maybe a dead bush. Got some like piles of rocks and rubble. Ooh, that's kind of fun. That's nice rocks. Good rocks, I think. And then what we're getting into now is a lot of the sea stuff that I have for Siren Squad, because obviously it takes a lot of coral for Siren Squad. I'm not sure what these things are for. They're just like texture, I guess. Look at this little dude. Different rocks, different leaves, different mushrooms. These are cute mushrooms. You've never played Sims? Honestly, that's probably for the best, because Sims is one of those games where you like start playing it and then 8 hours later you realize that you have not moved. And it's one of those games that you can sink your entire life into and never be done with it. So, yeah, it can get tricky, especially when you, like, have a real life. Pile of rocks! A big pile of rocks. Like a big pile of rocks. These are some nice fountains. This is like apothecary jar stuff. Some dinosaur prints. I used to play Sims like all the time when I was growing up. Like all the time. But it will steal your whole life away. So you have to be careful. These ones obviously are meant to be smaller. Like blown up. It's very difficult to tell what they are. But when they're tiny, it's better. And then these ones are meant to like have some light behind them. I don't use the ones with light behind them as much because I actually do put light on my maps. Not everybody does though, so personal preference. Some shipwreck things. Some like water stuff. Obviously I use this for Siren Squad as well. A whole island. The whole dang island. Above roofs. Look, now there's just an island right there on top of everything. Perfect. That's what we need. And some hay and some whatever this is. Rocks, sure. This is trees. Anyway, I think it's time to come in here and start. We'll do like that. Adjusting where stuff is. And you can set it above and below stuff by rearranging what layer it's on, which is very helpful. I come in and like do like that situation. This sword did seem a little bit big. I'm going to make it slightly smaller. Let's come in here and fix this corner down at the bottom, shall we? So I'm just going to zoom in. Focus on this. Actually, it's 7:30. Let's take a break. I'm going to see if I can set up the challenge thingy. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right, BRB, guys. Undraft. Anyway, so where we were... Oh, gosh, posture check again. Smart. Well, hello, new follower. Yes, Dungeondraft. That is the program this is. So, where we were was I was about to come in here and use my direct select tool to kind of fidget with this stuff and make it look more like it should be. So I'm thinking for this room, it's kind of going to be like, oh, Toad's not Phoenix. Toad's not Phoenix. Is that Pixel? No. Pixel, you're... I don't know who you are, but... Aw, nice. Well, thanks. Welcome. We're making a goblin map. And... well, now we have met. Now we're totally besties. I think for this particular area, I want it to be like... maybe they, like, raided a campsite or a caravan or something and, like, stole a bunch of food, but, like, don't really take care of it. So it's all kind of just, like, thrown all over the place over here. And probably some of it's, like, in the water and kind of gross. So I want to kind of get these things kind of haphazardly thrown around and then maybe stack this one on top of them. I think this one needs to be a little bit smaller. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Maybe, like... stack it like here. Yeet them. Yes, that's exactly what they did. So this, right now, you see I have the layer below the water. So if I put it over here, it'll show up like under the water. This needs to be a little bit smaller too. There we go, there we go, there we go. So have it like, this is a storeroom where you should be able to store things, but it's been kind of overrun with this water nonsense. I'm going to send that one to the back, I think. And have it, like, kind of over here where there's, like, grain spilled everywhere. Yeah, that works. And then what I think I'm going to do is come back in here to just regular object tool. Let's see. And get some more stuff in there piled up. So maybe... I'll make this crate a little bit smaller. So I can just kind of set them like that, and then if I want this one to be over the water, then I can just use the top layer. And then it won't be under the water like the other ones. I'm gonna lurk for a bit. Absolutely. The things in the terrain. I like being able to tell a little bit of story with things. And who knows, maybe that's the plot hook. You know, maybe you come across a caravan of people who are, like, camped for the night and are like, I don't know what we're going to do. We don't have any more of our food or the stuff we were going to take to market. And then the heroes go, I know, I'll go get those pesky goblins for you. And then you end up here. Like, who knows? That's how everything works, right? And there's a couple different, like... Oh, yeah, a tiny one? Yeah, let's have a tiny one. Let's do that. And then... how about let's find... yeah, we got some, like, random stuff over here on the ground. So, like, they've just kind of thrown things around. And maybe not a fish. We'll put, like, a carrot in there. I like to stack stuff. So, right now it is, you can't see that I'm putting a bunch of things down because it's snapping to either the corner or the middle here. But when I move things around, you'll be able to see it better. The reason I don't use the scatter tool for that is because I don't mind that they're all the same size and I don't want them to be rotating all over the place. I'm just going to have them, like, stacked in a bundle. So I don't use the scatter tool every time I want a bunch of stuff. but sometimes it is very helpful. Maybe let's get some like, oh, it's kind of in the middle of that thing, like it's floating in the water. That's kind of fun. Yeah, just throw those there. Why not? And then I think, that being the case, let's zoom out for just a hot second. And we've got like a bunch of wood and stuff where fires would go, but why don't we go ahead and put like, maybe like this guy instead of where the mushrooms are. We'll put like a little fire pit situation over here, and this can be like where they make their food. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. We'll zoom back in. Okay, and then go back over here. And the other thing about having everything on a grid is that is great for in-town interactions. Having things on a grid is perfect when you're setting something up. Bring to the front. When you're setting something up the way a human would do it. So a human would totally stack up crates and boxes directly along a nice straight wall and have everything organized. That's pretty normal for humans. But as far as like a goblin just kind of throwing things in here, it would be sort of more like random, I think, sort of like against walls and stuff. So I would not keep everything nice and on the grid. I like to kind of tilt and turn and give it a little extra nudge. Turn these ones this way. And then you can also select multiple. I don't know if this one is multiple anymore. I don't remember how many carrots I put down. Oh, it's not. Okay. That one still is. That looks like it was maybe like 3 of them. And I do tend to put things like kind of under where the wall is. I feel like it gives a little bit more of a sense of depth as far as like understanding that things are walls. I kind of think that helps. These guys, let's see, that's under the water, that's under the water. I think what I'm actually going to do is copy, paste, and then layer 1, and have this one sitting like just above the water, like that. Yeah, I think that will be good. So like this is kind of a mess, honestly. And that is the way I like it. I'll put this one under the water too. Who puts lettuce and cabbage underwater? Goblins who don't care, that's who. And I guess, therefore, me. And right over the cabbage. So now that's like an area of stockpiled things. Another smart move is to hit. I have an entire thing that's just Dungeondraft, put it in my map files, and Goblin Warren. Save. It just froze! Am I unfrozen now, or am I still frozen? Adventure prep. Yes. This is... Oh, small lag. I'm sorry. I will admit I am not our pro streamer. That would be Kat over at Nerdlandia. She handles all of our amazing overlays and our really like good streams. She's the pro. I am literally just using Twitch Studio beta on my Mac computers so I can show you how to make a map in Dungeondraft. You saw me move! Yay. I can't really control that, sorry. But yeah, Angel Verde. First off, hi. Second, yeah, so I make a lot of maps. I make all my own maps for Siren Squad, and I made the maps for Tea House Mysteries. So I got a lot of questions yesterday and comments on... Yeah, sorry, chat, refresh if you can. I don't think there's any anything else on my end I can do about it. Anyway, questions and comments on the maps. So I was like, hey, why not? I'll just start a little stream and I'll show you guys how I did them. Except everything's more complicated than it needs to be. And there's technical issues, because there's always technical issues. So we're making a goblin war, and it's not for anything in particular. It's just, for the sake of making a map. Let's zoom in over here. Live NPCs pop into Tea House. Yeah, that wasn't like always part of the plan, but I think it was really fun, especially for people who watch Hell's Bells and like know who's Cordial is. That was a really fun time. But also Eric from Norse Foundry he's a good friend of ours on the channel. Obviously, Norse Foundry has been very generous in donating metal dice for us to give away for our charity streams, and they're just really good friends of ours. If you ever hop over to their channel, they do, actually right now they're playing through Cyberpunk Red, and that show is called Fenrir Rising, and it's so cool. Definitely adult, but so fun. So Allie has actually guested on Fenrir Rising, so Allie was like, hey, you want to come in and be Volo? And it was just so good. So right now I'm just kind of messing with stuff, moving things around. Let's bring this up a bit. And trying to get this area to look messy. So this one's kind of like a little campfire area. And then if I wanted, later I could put a fire on it. These things, I like to move the extra stuff like this so it's not on the grid, because moving it off the grid is the easiest way to make it look more natural. When everything snaps to a grid, it kind of is obvious. Like, human brains pick up on that kind of pattern pretty quickly. Let's go around here and see like this area. These are all very similar. Come on, let me click you. Here we go. I'm gonna move it like over there. Tend to have these on the side. I feel like another thing to consider is if this is being used, there's not going to be a bunch of mushrooms right directly in the path, because they're going to get kicked over anytime a goblin walks past them, or crushed, or whatever. So there might be in some areas where it is not used as much. There may be like branches and stuff in the way. Like maybe we'll put this one over here kind of blocking. But there's not going to be a bunch of mushrooms and branches and stuff directly in the way of exactly where goblins would be going back and forth all the time, because they would just kick them right out. Yeah, we'll just kind of get these up. Little dagger happening there. Have our treasure pile happening up here. That's always fun. Alright, here's another pile of mess nonsense. Some thorns over in this little path. I like these thorns. I think they're pretty fun. That's fine where it is. Just ever so slightly get it off the grid. Just to... because you really can tell. Even if something is meant to look like it's not on the grid, like you can very see that this is obviously in a line. course, I'm having trouble moving it, but, you know, it's like that sometimes. So I'll just set these off to the side. D&D play! Hey! Nice to see you again. We are making a little goblin warren in Dungeondraft, just for the sake of showing off how Dungeondraft works and hanging out, and I never get to make anything for goblins, so that's all that's up. If you have any ideas for the map, throw them out. This is not for any particular campaign, we're just making it for fun. So feel free. See, this is a little, goes off to the side there, so we can turn this guy. We'll turn it like this way. Here we go. This needs to move. I like my maps to look lived in. So other than making maps, because I'm sure all of you have obviously downloaded this game and are making maps along with me, of course, why wouldn't you be? What are you guys up to tonight? And also, is Gigawatt 1099 Seth? Or Javen, maybe? Somebody said that my brother sent them, but I have many brothers, so I'm not even sure who you're talking about. Nope, not Seth. I think Javen's handle on something was Gigawatt, so I wasn't sure if that was you. Which, you didn't actually answer my question, you just said you're not Seth. So you might still be Javen. That's a very Javen answer to give, but it's okay if you're not Javen. I'm gonna make some of these spikes bigger. Why not? Throw them up here. My cunning ruse is revealed. Pixel, you are not my brother. I know you're not. I seen to you. Oh, is it? What time zone are you in, dude? I don't even know. Okay. So, this map has some stuff in it. Oh, you're central? Nice. Some stuff in it, a little bit of color. I like to come back in with my terrain brush here and just add extra Jenna, c'est quoi? Let's see, we got the swamp going. Oh, let me show you what it looks like when you, so if you turn the intensity like all the way down on your gravel brush, make the size a little smaller so you can see. You can have small patches. Why are you not? Oh, because it's duh on swamp. Kind of works slow when it's this low, but you can have small patches of gravel kind of appear. More than just that, this has all become inspiration for my Goblins and Warrens game tonight. Oh, perfect! When does your thing start, Pixel? Do you want me to send you this map? Turn it up just a little bit. So, you can just woke up and saw this happening. Oh, hey, Melicity! I saw you. You came into the Discord the other day. We are making a Goblin Warren map because we can. Turn the intensity down a little bit, and then it will kind of fill in some of the around the rocks. This I use underwater all the time at a beach, and get some of the rocks look like they're under sand. So it gives it a little bit less of a rock look. Do we need any no materials? Do we need any paths? That's the question. We got some little footprint paths. Got some stairs. Some animal prints. I can show you guys some of these. So that's like animal footprints. And the thing about paths is you can turn it so they kind of go wherever you want. So that's sort of neat. And then double click to end the path. And then just, you know, Command Z to get rid of it. Not for another 5 or 6 hours. Oh, I forgot, Pixel, you're like on the other side of the world. Let's see, we got some like broken up dock over here. Got some shadows. Shadows, the shadow one is so helpful. This is just it's just a line of shadow. It doesn't seem like much. It's super helpful if you're trying to make like stairs or show depth on maybe like a dock, or if you've got some sort of, I don't know, like a loft or something with like level 2 and level 1, having a shadow over something is super helpful. And you can see over here, you can change the width. So I can make the shadow very wide. And see, it does that. That is one of the key things that I used on the Siren Squad map over the weekend, because it was a spiral staircase of platforms. So having a little shadow under each step helped a bit in kind of showing, okay, this is a staircase and it's moving up. This is like log wooden fence happening, fence off this area. Oh, still big. Still a biggin. Goblins say, no entry right there. We can get rid of it like that. There's some chains. There's a blood trail. We can do a blood trail through here. Ta-da! It leads to the food. Specific question for something I'm looking for in a map. I'd like to make Fog of War happen. Does this allow for that? Or would that be a thing in what a map goes into? That would be a thing for what the map goes into. So I make my maps so that everything is visible, and then if I put it into Astral or Roll20 or whatever, that's when I section off areas of it. Obviously, I need some water. Also, Javen, when did you see I was streaming? Are you following me on Twitter? How did you know? Anyway. So now we're gonna mess around with my favorite part, which is environment lighting. So this is already a pretty dark map. We're gonna make it darker because I like doing that sort of thing. Checked Twitch on a whim. Oh, wow. So this is the brightest it'll get. But you can set it, especially like if this were like a volcano or something, maybe you want everything to be like red from something coming off the lava. I tend to set mine maybe like here and probably like purple, bluish kind of color, so it makes everything look like dark. So your characters, your players will get the idea that like this is probably an area where you need night vision. I just heard of Roll20 yesterday when I read through the Discord. Yeah, so Roll20 is a VTT, so a virtual tabletop. It is by no means the best virtual tabletop, but it's free, and that makes it accessible. A lot of people use it. There are add-ons for it, Chrome extensions for it, so a lot of people use it for that reason, and I think even though it's maybe not the smoothest, in some respects, we use it for all of our games at LD&D, and it works normally just fine. So I did say in the Discord the other day that after we were done with our charity streams, we would start focusing on doing tutorial sessions again for newbies, and how D&D Beyond works and how Roll20 works are part of the tutorial sessions that I run. We just, oh my goodness, could not handle doing tutorial sessions and charity streams at the same time. It's just so much work. But we can totally teach you how that works. Anyway, so this map is very dark. Enter, oh, hold on, we're going to save this also. Enter the lighting tool. The light tool is my favorite thing. I love this. Right now, the color that it is a standard, like, torch light, like a warm light. As you can see, it respects walls. So this is cave walls, but if it were a building with windows, you could set it so that the windows let light in or let light, or don't let light in, and you can have light on the outside or the inside or whatever. Okay. Yeah, Kat, I had no idea that you were streaming tonight too. I had already talked to some people about doing Dungeondraft, and then you were like, hey, I'm going to be streaming, and I was like, crap, I obviously don't know what day it is, which is my fault because you literally put out a calendar of all the days that you're streaming, and I just didn't look at it. But anyway, we're making some maps. We decided on a goblin warren, so this is like goblin tunnels. I think I gotta dash off now. I've loved the stream so far. I hope everyone else is enjoying. Yeah, so we'll see you later, Pixel. If you do end up like finishing up any maps or anything, like totally throw them in the Discord or throw them on like Twitter or something and tag me because I want to see the maps that you guys make. Somebody already sent me one where they were just like doing the playing around thing, and it's obnoxious and perfect, and I love it. So anyway, right now we're talking about lighting, which I think is the most important part of a map. So right now I have it so that the ambient light is low, but just for the sake of explaining, let's put the ambient light back on pure white. One thing I always do, no matter how like daytime inside where there's no light, it doesn't matter. If there's an area that I really want to highlight for my players, I will put a light over it. So this one is pretty high intensity and the range is pretty far. But say, for example, I want them to find this treasure chest. And I will go ahead and kind of put a little spotlight over the treasure chest. Just to... I would have rated you, didn't show up for something. Yeah, that's fine. It's all good. We were having technical issues earlier, so that might have been it. So I'll just put a little bit of spotlight over that treasure chest. The same for like maybe the goods over here. As you can see from where my mouse is, there's not any particular reason there would be light right there, but just kind of to give it a little something so that when you're looking over this whole map, your eyes are kind of drawn to where you want the players to focus. So it's just a little tip to keep players focused where you want them to be focused. And also just quick tip, if you come back here with direct select, you can adjust, you can see where this is, you can adjust your color, the different type of light that it is, and then also like up the range if you need to. So you can turn it, you can make the range like huge. So even the light is all editable, but I like to throw some lights in where I want them to focus on just to make sure that things go smoothly. So let's turn this back to kind of, whoa, not that dark. Let's turn it back to like this dark maybe. And then let's have some green in here. I think some like kind of odd green color maybe coming from like some of our water. Turn the intensity up just a smidge. Yeah. We'll have our water a little bit glowy. That's kind of unsettling, I think. And then I'll probably do the same for our mushrooms. So we have some mushrooms in here. Let's see, they're more like this color, we'll say. So I will have some, set the intensity down a little bit. I will kind of light up some of the mushrooms. Not necessarily that they are bioluminescent mushrooms, but like it just gives it a little bit more to look at, I think. And then having your whole map dark and having certain places lit is also better for like kind of having the background fade away so you're not worried about whatever all this is. Actually, on that note though, we could go with gravel terrain. That's still kind of light. It looks darker than it is on the map when you look at it. Dirt, limestone. Yeah, so actually swamp is like the darkest one we could go with at the moment. Another thing we could do is just make it all dark water if we wanted. And then, oh, I got distracted. I was playing with, level trace image. So trace image is another fun thing we didn't do for this one. If you had like a hand-drawn map or there was like an actual building. So for example, one of the one-shots that I did was a Coraline themed Halloween one-shot. So I brought in an image of the Pink Palace And you can have it as like a reference layer that will, as you can see, turns the opacity down, and then you can build on top of it. So I built the pink palace on top of that with a reference for how the building actually looked. And that's really helpful if you have like old maps or like something you scribbled on a napkin or whatever that you can import. It makes life much easier. But I'm bouncing all over the place. Anyway, light tools. So I added some light to some of my mushrooms, so it's a little bit like weird and unsettling in there. But let's make it also weird and unsettling by adding some like red light. Red light is not like some darker red light. Nobody wants that, I don't think. So we'll have like maybe a little bit more range and a little bit less intensity, just a smidge. So like piles of bones, we'll have just a touch of red light over the bone piles. Maybe a touch of red light over where the little fireplace is. Just something that's kind of like, makes it look a little bit not fun. So this is generally how I would do that sort of thing. I need to learn this stuff. I need a world map. So this is Dungeondraft, and Dungeondraft is for encounter maps. But there is another program made by the same people that's called Wonderdraft. And Wonderdraft is for full towns and worlds and regional maps and stuff. So it's the same kind of deal, but it's for like a larger scale map. So it sounds to me like Wonderdraft, if this is the look you're going for, is the one that you want. Incarnate is also really good for world maps, I think. Incarnate I really don't like for doing city maps or encounter maps. Some people do, but Incarnate's good for world maps. Oh my gosh, that's a long, okay. I'm gonna follow Dip. I actually have a party of 6 members. You have inspired me to go ahead and give a series of short campaigns in the form of a guild. They all prefer tabletop, and I'm still learning it. But I become a full-time caregiver, so I didn't see the time. That idea popped up, and I want to jump on it while I'm motivated. Good luck with the stream, and everyone else, good luck with your maps. Oh, thanks, yeah. Honestly, Gil, like, however you can do things, however you make it work, as long as you guys are having fun and nobody's, like, stressed out or overworking, like, that's the correct way to play. There's no wrong way to play a game. It's a game. Just have fun with it. But you are going to do well. You're going to do great, and I hope you have a good night. Melicity says, I need cities. Good question. I didn't even know to ask. Yes, Wonderdraft or Incarnate are good ones for cities, for sure. Actually, Incarnate I really like for world maps specifically. So this is how I would do this one. I'm not entirely happy with how... Maybe I'll bump up the light a little bit. There we go. I think that's better. Which one is this again? Cobblestone. And I want cobblestone. This isn't good for making, like, platforms and stuff, but that's not helpful right here. Aw, thanks for helping us level up the sirens. Yeah, the thing that I'm not crazy about right now is I don't feel like I don't feel like this has a very solid blend. This way. A particularly good blend between the wall and the outside. So, some things that I do with that is, one, I like to go ahead and add a little bit of texture around the edges. So, like I said, if you do the gravel brush like this around the edge, it can look a little funny, but if we come back in with the swamp on low intensity, it'll kind of fill in around some of the gravel, and that makes it look a little bit more natural. And then the other thing we can do is use some water brushes around the outside and make the outside very dark, which is one thing that I did on the last Siren map, because if you remember that map, it was a tower, and I didn't want any background around the tower, like you're in a magical tower. So I actually made the water solid black and put the water all around everything so that it looked like there was no outside rather than having like dirt around it or something. Come in and do this around some places. Give it a little bit of texture. I definitely love messing with the water. That is a true thing. That is true about me. And I don't get the chance to do it often, but being able to make the water like a whole bunch of different colors is also very fun. Come in here and do some of these guys. Oh, come in over here too. Melicity, got some cheers. All right, so let's do this water thing. I don't want this water to be green. I want this water to be very dark, so that our outside. Do the shallow color, so that our outside isn't the most visible thing. And if I don't like this, I can always come back in later and undo it. Not a problem. Here's the trick. So you see we have water happening right here. It's kind of like gross water. That water, if it interacts with this water, will immediately change and turn into whatever your new water color is. So we want to be careful to not hit where that is underneath. See, it'll do that. It's kind of a trick. My undo button here. Because you're never sure where under the wall it is. So I can give that one a bit of a wider berth. There we go. But this will give you kind of an example of what it is I'm talking about here. So now you can see that everything is much darker around the edges. And you can still see the pattern under here. And give it a little extra clicks in there. You can still see the pattern of the rocks, and that kind of matches a little bit better with the edges we're making. We're getting very fancy right now, guys. So fancy. And I just come in and fill all of these gaps. Make sure I don't touch the water over here on this side. And then I'm going to take my little brush, my happy little brush for our happy little water, and I'm going to hit my Option key. And you see it's blue, that's because I'm deleting water. So I can kind of hit some of these spots where it bled into the walls. Because I don't want these things to look like they're underwater. Yeah. Oh, whoops. Hitting the wrong key. That doesn't help anyone. There we go. And then, yes, so this is the trick, is don't touch. Don't touch it. Nope, touched it. I can come in here with the blue and kind of undo around here so that it's a little bit farther away. And then, oh, whoops, undoing it did the same thing. Don't listen to me, apparently. I'm very wrong. I'm just going to creep up on it a little bit. But I can come in here. Yeah, Dungeondraft's an exact science, as you can tell. Anyway. Fill this water, and remember that that's over there. You can also use like a square shape or a point shape and basically fill the whole map. If you wanted to start with something like this, you could. I at this point don't want to fill the whole map because I feel like that would be more work for me. But, like, you could. Did I get too close? No, I didn't. Yes. No. I flew too close to the sun. Nope. Anyway, so that is a way to make things darker. I believe another thing I do is come in here with my cave brush again, because this is all connected. So if I came in and I made the ground lighter, like this, it will let you. Oh, there you go. It's nice and grass green in there now. But I could lighten this up a bit. And then there we go. That is also an option. Oh, no, there's water there. Why I do this to myself. Do you guys hear my upstairs neighbors? They must have a baby up there because they're making weird baby noises. You know, like you like coo and baby talk and stuff. That sounds like what they're doing. Earlier when I was on stream with Ice Dragons, they decided it was like the perfect time to start remodeling the bathroom, and I could hear them like destroying the tile in the bathroom and like saws and hammers and stuff, like while I was on stream. I was like, okay, well, obviously time to mute myself then. Which, it's not like they knew I was streaming, but still, how rude of them. They probably don't know what streaming is, to be honest. They're slightly older. Or a pet. Oh yeah, maybe they have a pet. I don't think we're allowed to have pets in this building. But maybe. Because the person who lived here before we did in this particular apartment, the reason they got evicted is, the reason we even have this apartment is because they had a pet dog that they were not supposed to have. And the dog she must have kept this dog in where our bedroom is now, all the time, and not ever let the dog out. Because it like ruined the carpet in there, and there's like bite marks all over the door handle where the dog was like trying to get out of the room, and it's like super sad. And obviously this must have been a larger dog, just for how much damage there was and how high up. Ooh, whoops. Shows you how I'm paying attention. Which, you should not keep a dog like that in an apartment as small as ours. So I'm glad she's not here anymore. But also it was nice to be able to get this apartment, because I like it a lot. 2 pets per house here, and we may be the only family following that rule. I don't think we're really allowed to have any pets, but I do know that there have been a couple people that got special permission for like cats and stuff. But cats are quiet, you know? Like it's not like cats are constantly making noise and, you know, barking at the mailman or destroying things. So it wasn't like that big of a deal. Nope. Got cocky. And we don't have pets anyway, because I am allergic to everything, quite frankly. It's a sad state of affairs. I love dogs and cats and birds and lizards and things, but we just can't have them. I can touch other people's, but like if I had them in the house, my whole face would be swollen all the time. You just can't live somewhere where they live, unfortunately. Let's see, so I'm going to come in here and clean up some of the overspill that we've gotten in some of these areas. Is this efficient? I don't know. Are there other ways to do this? I mean, maybe, probably. Probably could just, like, download a million texture packs. But without downloading a million texture packs, you have access to water. And I use it. So this, I think, makes a little bit more sense as far as where the people are supposed to go. And where they're not going. I can come in here and just expand the cave a little bit. There we go. And expand this part a little bit so it covers where I didn't cover. Ta-da! I will come over here and move these farther into the corner. And then I'll save again. You always want to save. So yeah, this is a little goblin map. And then if there's anything on top of that that you want to move, it's best to not put it in here. It's best to put it in the VTT. So, for example, if you wanted goblins that would become an encounter, then you wouldn't put the tokens on this map. You would put them on the VTT so that it can move, because this you're going to export and it'll be totally flat. So, I think, unless anybody has any other ideas, I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to export it. And I like to turn the grid off because the VTT always has its own grid. Make sure lighting is on. If you turn lighting off, also fine. But I like having that little bit of extra contrast. It will also let you do different filters. So you could do where it is gray for printers. And you can do sepia, so it looks like an old map if you did one that's supposed to, you know, look like a map. Or if you wanted it to match something else. I tend to leave it custom. And then I'm going to hit export. And then I keep files and files separate, so I'm going to go. No, come on now. Goblin Warren. There we go. I'm dyslexic, y'all. Don't talk about my spelling. Save, and then it does this weirdness for a minute, and then when it stops moving, you know it's done. I do a lot of high fantasy. Yeah. So, the map packs that I have imported are I mostly do maps, Siren Squad. So Siren Squad is high fantasy and underwater. So the maps that I have are high fantasy and underwater. But there are tons of map packs for cyberpunk, for stations, for all sorts of things like that. Give me just a moment, and I will put the link in the chat for a good place to get the asset for it. There we go. So, photography things, but one of the sections that they have is just Dungeondraft assets. And I don't have a lot of cyberpunk or futuristic or sci-fi or anything like that, because those aren't the maps that I tend to need, but there's tons of it available. There's all sorts of things available. Just, again, I said it at the beginning, but I'm going to go ahead and say it again. Check the licensing on cartography assets when you get them. All of them are free for personal use, unless they're paid. and then it'll tell you if they're paid. But most of them are free for personal use and not for commercial use. So please don't download someone else's stuff that they worked so hard on and then try and like sell the map with it on Patreon or something. Check everyone will have a license on the page. It very clearly says you can use this for personal use, you can use this for personal or commercial, like they say on there. So don't steal people's stuff and make money off of it. It's not cool. But you can check for every pack. Will tell you what kind of licensing is available. And I believe it tells you who makes it too. So if you're the kind of person who makes maps and you want to use it to sell for something, you might be able to get contact information. But all I do is make the maps and then use them for stream. I don't sell the maps that we have for Siren Squad. So that's a little bit of legal for you. So any last minute questions? Don't plan on making money on even Twitch, but good to keep in mind. Yeah, using them on Twitch is fine, but if you were like selling the maps like on Patreon or something, by stealing someone else's thing that they worked hard on and then selling it for yourself when they worked hard on it and gave it out for free is kind of like not what we do here. We don't like that. But yeah, so does anybody else have any other questions? If not, this has been like it's been like 2 hours, I think. That's a pretty good time for a map making stream. Usually they don't take me this long, I don't think, but anything? I don't think so. All right. Well, thanks for hopping on and hanging out. I really appreciate it. I wasn't expecting this many people. I thought it was going to be me and like 2 people making a map together. So yeah, this works. I am on all of my socials at Jenna Figures, and I'm on Discord as Cubist Octopus. So if you have any other questions or aren't sure about things or want to show me your map because I absolutely want to see it, that's where you find me. And I hope you have a good time making your own maps. I would love to see them. This one's very like, most of my maps are super colorful. This one's very like gray. So maybe we'll do this again sometime where we make like a ridiculous map. Ooh, maybe we'll do like a Feywild map. That would be cool, right? Okay, so sometime later we'll do a Feywild map. But for now, I hope you guys have a nice night. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. Bye.